Simple as that. And that's the simplicity of this, what we point to. Single and simple. It's seemingly too simple for the mind. And we'll say it can't be this easy, and we get involved in another story. Or people have been searching for 10, 20, 30 years, doing all sorts of meditation and things like that. Oh no, they'll have a vested interest in this search. No, what about my 30 years of meditating? What am I going to do with that? Rather than dropping the search, being what they are, they'll carry on for another 20 or 30 years trying to find it. But it doesn't happen. And they wonder why so few people seemingly get it. Or what we call get it. We say here often to start that everybody already is that. There's nobody who can get it. There's no person or entity that needs to get it or can get it. We say start from that fact that you are already that. If you are that omnipresence, omnipotence, omniscience, how can you be anything else other than it? So that's what we do, point you towards that and see that that's what you are, that already and always have been. And you'll never find the answer in a concept, in the mind. That's just about it. That should do you anyway for a while. It's like it's everybody right, everybody is that already. And it's much easier to see today because we've got all this way of communicating through good translations of ancient texts which weren't translated the way they are today, with computers and everything like that, where there'd be only one or two in a small village isolated somewhere, and only be able to pass it on to a few around because that no means of communicating with them all. So very few would hear about it, and of those few, not everybody would be attracted by it. And so that's where they got the idea that it's only for the very few. But today, with all the things we've got, the computers and everything, and texts and people that understand it, pointing to it, quite easy to see, quite easy to be grasped and realise that you are that. They don't get the idea that a lot of us do, oh, I couldn't possibly be that. They're far greater than what I am. It's a lot of crap. No one better or worse than what you are, because you are in essence that. No matter how much you're patterning, experiencing, or shaping and forming. So everybody can contribute to the show, so get into it. Any doubts, any questions, any arguments?
Well, Bob, the other night it came up that this idea, and it's not an isolated idea. I think you'll find most people have the idea that there is, I should be doing better in life, or there are places I should be getting to. And it was sort of briefly brushed over, but I would have thought, if we listen to what you say, there cannot be anybody, that can only be a mental projection from a self. In other words, to have a belief, there has to be a believer. To have a goal, there has to be somebody created to have that goal, to work towards it. And it can only exist in the linear part of the mind that creates time. So no believer can't be a belief. So where would the goal cling on to?
You've got to have a look, you realise, got to see that there is no entity that has any power or any independent nature. And we'll point that out again as we go through and point it again, for those that haven't Everybody is seeing right now, isn't that a fact? Everybody's hearing right now. But ask yourself this, does my eye tell me I see? And does my ear tell me I hear? Mine doesn't, does yours? But the thought comes up and translates it, I see. The thought comes and translates it, I hear. But the thought, then ask yourself, can the thought I see, can it actually see? Can the thought I hear, can it actually hear? Can it?
No.
The thought can't see, the thought can't hear. So the thought I'm aware can't be your awareness. The thought I choose can't be the choice maker. So the thought has got no power to do anything whatsoever. When you realise that there is no entity there, you know, that thought has got no power to do anything, and it has got no independent nature. It's not something that can stand on its own. You can't have a single thought unless that life essence is there. You've got a body with a brain and everything, how many thoughts can you have without that life essence? So you see that thought, which we believed ourselves to be this imagined thought, has got no power to do any of these things. So it never did have any power. So if that's understood and you function from that point, then the idea that comes up that I've got goals or I need goals, who's having that idea? It's not the entity. That's what comes up and might put you along. But while you believe you're an entity, yes, you're in duality, and that, you know, you're causing problems to yourself. The thoughts will come up the same as they did before. But it can never be attributed to an entity if you see through it clearly, then no. But there's no. See, disciplines come up in this mind here. You know, something might come up, and the chatter might start, might come up as full stop. That thought will come up. There's no thinker of it. Just thinking. Well, don't go there. Well, that's just a concept. There's no argument about is this coming from a me or not me. And that's what goes on when people first look at this. Oh, was that my me talking or not? And you see that the me never had any power at all, never had any independent nature, it was total fiction. How can it ever come from a me? But while we're in ignorance, what they call it ignorance, we ignore our true nature and believe in the appearance. While we're in that ignorance, ignoring our true nature, and believing there is a me there that is functioning, we get caught in all these traps.